Welcome to the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast, the show where we shine a light on the incredible businesses, community leaders and local legends shaping our town. I'm your host, James O'Donnell, and today we are joined by Nicole Nunn of Bishop Stortford Judo Club. Nicole, great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
For those of us who don't know you yet, who are you and what do you do here in Bishop Stortford?
So my name is Nicole Nunn. I'm one of the lead coaches at Bishop Stortford Judo Club, which is hosted in Herts and Essex Sports Centre. We have a permanent facility and we train 6 days a week, taking in members from aged 5, some in their 70s that have been practicing for over 40 years, and offering everybody a range of opportunities to be the best they can be.
When did all this get started?
I've been doing judo since I was 10, which is 40 years. So you can do the math on that. And I've been coaching for about 35 of those. I moved to Bishop Stortford, I think in 2008. And shortly afterwards, I took over the judo club that was already there, which was in a church hall in Water Lane. And that was run originally by my husband's judo coach, John Holliday. And so, we took that club on and it's evolved since there. So we went from having, I think, maybe 12 active members we inherited at that point. And now we've got, I think, about 210 people.
Wow.
Fighters,
that's some big numbers.
Players. Yeah, big numbers, over 6 days a week. And that is just community club. There's no schools business attached to that. There's no additional little off streams. There are people that regularly come and train at the club each week.
And is it a permanent dojo?
Permanent dojo, yeah. So we went from a Water Lane Church Hall. We outgrew that and we went to Birchwood High School, and they very nicely hosted us for a number of years until we outgrew that space. I worked with Herts Sports Partnership and some other community leaders, and then set up in a project for the build for Herts and Essex Sports Centre. My daughter went to that school. There were some other judo players at that school, so the school understood the sport and has supported the girls through their education whilst they were training and competing to a high level for their age. Yes, so we opened, the facility opened in the October, just before COVID, really. And so, yes, we've been growing from strength to strength since we've been there, which was always intended. So I think we went in with just under 100 members and we have just over doubled in size since we've been there.
For those of us who are listening in might have an idea about what judo is, can you give it a real quick summary of what judo is?
So judo is a martial art and also an Olympic sport. In its own right. And so we are probably seen as a grappling sport. So we don't have any striking. There isn't any punching or kicking. So for our very young members, fighting looks like throws and hold down. So a little bit like wrestling, I suppose. And then as we progress and get a little bit older, and there are arm locks and strangle. And so we have a national pathway. We are a registered club with our national governing body, which allows us to compete internationally at a good level. So we have under 15, under 18, under 21 and seniors are the age groups for senior international tournaments that are regulated by an international board and federation. And our club is aligned with those, and we have players competing up into the senior GB squads at the moment. And we've had international cadet, junior and senior medalists. So we're well entrenched in the pathway of GB. Of course, we have some recreational players too. I think it's fair to say we don't have a recreational program. We have a club program and everyone participates at the same level in sessions. And then those that show the additional commitment, obviously there's so much work that goes on additional to the club offer with national program and input from us with parents that allow them to reach those levels. And it takes a very special person and a lot of commitment to the sport to get to those exceptional levels. But yes, that's kind of what we do. We are different to most martial arts. I think our gradings, we don't have a junior black belt category that you see in some sports. The earliest you can get your black belt is 15, and that would be an exceptional circumstance. You'd probably be on a good international platform for that really to happen. And our belts are earned not just technically, so we have to be able to show that we can do those skills at competition as part of our grading, and then to get your black belt there is a separate grading, and then we have to have a lot of time in grade once we get to our black belt before we can progress to the next level. So it really is a journey for life. It's not something, it's no quick win. You can't join this sport and be at the end of your journey in 2 years. If you do, you've finished as a yellow belt, you didn't get your black.
Yeah, you see some martial arts where people, like within 3 years, have jumped through all the different colours, don't you? But with judo, it's a longer
longer invested journey. And it's not for the faint-hearted. I'm very aware I should be selling a sport here, and I don't want to discourage people, but it's a bit of a Marmite situation. It's not going to be something that everybody likes, but those that do, it sort of calls to them, to their soul, really. And once you're in the door, you're in there for life. But it is very physically demanding. So, we like to get children in young, and then, they understand the culture, the values, those things get cemented in them, in their friendships. Parents understand what's going on. And then it can become part of their life because it is part of their routine. It's something that they do every day. And we have a lot of people that say maybe that I started judo as a child, and then they call us up in their 40s. Maybe they've moved to the area, and if they've done judo to a good level when they were a child, they're under no illusion of what they're trying to bring themselves back to. And it's probably still more painful than they ever realised on their body. But starting as an adult and coming into trying to get to a competitive level is tough if you've not done a good level of sport. Definitely combat sports or rugby or something before, that would be tough. Yeah.
So you mentioned about young people starting early and starting to learn some of the values of judo.
Yes.
How old do you need to be to get started?
So we take children from 5, and that's part of our national governing body's recommendation. So we take them from 5. Sometimes we have to say to people, look, come back when they're 6. They might just need a little bit more time from social skills point of view, or just like from an independence point of view. But we take them from 5, and our sessions are 45 minutes long. So they're obviously fundamental movement, physical literacy orientated, and some specific judo moves and commands. We do try and take the mat with as much Japanese language as possible, so that kids feel like that's an environment that's theirs and they have to own it and understand it. And it also means that you can train on any mat in the world and you'll understand what's going on, which is really important if you get to a good level. And so we normally have there's a 5 to 8 year old category, and then we go almost like 8 to 10 or 8 to 12, and then progress from there. And then there's some children always that fall just outside or inside of those boundaries, and we just do a little push and pull to get kids to be in the right environment for that.
And you mentioned some international level work that you're doing.
Yeah.
So you must have seen some incredible journeys of young children starting at 5 and working their way through into fighting internationally.
Yeah, I think I'm in a really privileged position to have been supporting the England and GB programme for about 10 years now. So I've seen lots of children from our club, but also from other clubs, around the country that have been involved for a really long time and competing to a really high level. It's great when you see kids have taken that opportunity on and made it as much as they can from it. And it's not everybody's bag, to get your black belt is an incredible journey. To get to an international level or national level, they're all massive milestones for people, and not to be undervalued at all. I think some of the great things for us is the succession planning in our club from a coaching perspective. They have all been kids. I think bar 2, 3 of our coaches, all of them have come through since starting judo with us when they were 5, and have been on national pathways and are now part of the coaching team. And 2 of the other 3 coaches are people that I used to train with when I was a child that actually I've just, wanted to still be involved in sport and train with us. So it's very family orientated in that way. Once you're in, we grab you in some capacity, whether you're on the mat or volunteering, and then you're part of who we are until you leave. So yeah, it's a nice journey. And, for some of our kids at the club that have gone to European Youth Olympics, European Championships for under 15s, people fighting in senior European Cups. There's been a lot of good stuff, and it's great to see our guys fighting at that level. When anyone's fighting at that level, Nicole Wood just fought in the Junior World Championships. And so we were able to post the link in our little group chat of where she was fighting. And so it's lovely to see everybody supporting her from afar, So when any of the kids get to fight on a good level away, it is very common for the rest of the club to be following them over the weekend and wishing them well.
That's an incredible success story for, in Bishop Stortford, that there's a club that is producing people that are competing, European world stage, doing a sport. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, when you start coaching, you really don't know where your journey is going to take you. And just doing something like this today is not something you ever sort of understand that you'd be involved in. And so it's incredible the amount of people that you get to interact with, and it's incredible to be able to give people the opportunity to become the best they can be. And I think, when you start coaching at club level, you don't realise, and we've definitely created, I don't want to call it a machine or a monster, but we've created something at the club where it's just massive. And, there's so many people doing so many amazing things. I think it would be easy to take some of that for granted, really. People see a lot of success or a lot of medals, but there's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of hard work from a lot of people, the athletes, the coaches, the committee, the planning. There's so much work from everybody, but it's working very well at the moment for us, for sure.
One of the things that you've mentioned there is the community aspect of the club. Can you talk to that a little bit about the extra bits you do? You're not just running sessions there. There's a lot more that goes on.
I think so. I think we have people that volunteer for us whose children no longer actually are at the club. Maybe they went away to uni and they haven't come back, but they have made their friends at the club. So, they still support at the club in the evenings. There's a lot of additional stuff that goes on not at the club. So maybe the kids meet up and they train independently of the club. The parents make their friendships and they live on maybe once their children have moved off to university or maybe not doing sport anymore. So those personal connections are lifelong, But I think also, whole learning, one of the big lessons I think in our sport is we might be an individual sport, but we have to train as a team and we compete as a team, even though when you actually physically compete yourself, it's one-on-one. But, you've always got your teammates and your coaches there, and they're very good. We're very good, the team, at holding people up, win or lose. And, it doesn't matter whether you won the championship medal or not. Everyone comes back to the club Monday and trains again, and that's it. We start again because there's something else that we're moving on to. And I think that community of looking out for each other, supporting each other on and off of the mat, that transcends into people's lives, those friendships. It's not just a judo friendship. It's actually, they're the people that you call when you're on a hard time. So they're invested friendships over a number of years. Those people end up knowing you better than most others. And in some of us, we spend more time there than we do with our family. So, they're very important. We like to sponsor charities. We've lost a couple of people on our journey. And so we've supported a couple of charities in their name. So every year we hold a couple of events in their memory. So we have a couple of memorial competitions that the wider judo community attend to honour their memory and also to generate some much needed money for charity. So we support Cry and we support Papyrus. Every year we send them some money, and as a club we're very proud to be able to do that. And that's something that we want to do, to give back to our community that's there to support everybody.
That's wonderful. Those events are very big as well. There's lots of people, as you said, in the wider judo community come and get involved, but it's testament to the club, the work that you do, you and the community around the club to put those on. What are you excited about for the future with the club?
Wow. I just think to carry on the journey, get as many people as we can invested in the sport and aligned to the pathway that's right for them, national, international, coaching, refereeing, whatever they want to get involved in. I think we've got a really exciting young crop of kids coming through at the moment that are doing some great work at competition level, and we've got British Championships in December, so a lot of them will be training and hoping that they get some success there in terms of a medal. January will see the start of the cadet international season and the junior international season kick off sort of March time. So we've got players in those forums that will be wanting to get some sort of selections for Europeans and World Championships at the end and Youth Olympics at the end of that year. But I think from the club perspective, it's always about the succession planning and making sure that this journey continues once we're no longer involved to the level that we're involved in. And I think so getting other people on the coaching journey and understanding how much more we can grow, and actually offering more of a daytime opportunity for those people that want to train full time. And we've started that. We've got some guys that are interested in doing that have stayed locally for university. So offering them a volume of sessions that meets the demand that they need to be able to compete at a high level, and getting them the appropriate contests locally, fighting randori, as we call it, regularly, supporting them on their journey, and working out how to do that is exciting. It's always challenging, but it's exciting to be able to try and offer something that people need and to facilitate that for them. So, yeah, I think, I never thought we would have a club that was open 6 days a week, and it is. I mean, they're not full days, but there are sessions running 6 days a week. So that's pretty incredible from where we started, which was two 2-hour sessions in a church hall. So to where we are now, and our sessions are busy. We have like 35 people on a senior session on a Monday evening, and that's incredible. And that's regular sessions of young adults coming together. So when we're told that young adults stop playing sport at 14, 15, our kids that are actually engaged, they're really regular, and they train hard, and they're training like 3 or 4 times a week with us, plus doing all of the other stuff. So yeah, excited for that to carry on, excited for more of that, excited to push more people into that competitive arena and be able to provide for them if that's what they want, and excited to provide more local opportunity, more local competitions, more local gradings, making judo accessible for our local community, for other clubs in our community to be able to compete locally. And I'm very proud that we've got the facility we've got, but I'm also very aware that it's an exceptional facility and that we should never be taken lightly, and that it's open for everybody to use.
It's awesome. Everything you've been talking about, Nicole, it's a real privilege to be able to, real privilege to be able to shine a light on a Bishop Stortford success story.
Thank you.
And I think from moving to the town and from those people I talked to about it, it's, you're known, the club's known, and hopefully more people off the back of this are going to, be interested and be able to celebrate the success of the club, but also then try and get involved as much as possible. What's the best way if someone's listening to this and they've got a little one that they want to get started on the judo journey? What's the best way for them to do that with the club?
If you visit our website, which is www.bishopstortfordjudo.com, there is a new starter button. If you click that, we'll collect a few details from you, and then we'll be in touch via email to recommend, based on your child's age stage, a taster session, and to get them signed up to start coming along, taking some sessions.
Fantastic. We'll put a link to that in the show notes, so if anybody's listening, they can take action straight away and see everything that the club's got to offer. That's absolutely been fantastic. Are you ready for some Stortford Spotlight questions now?
I'll try, yeah.
Quick pause. If you've ever looked in the mirror and just not felt like yourself, this one's for you. Local business owner Sue Tillett at All About You has been helping women in Bishop Stortford feel confident, beautiful and seen for over 16 years. From brows and lashes to wedding makeup and empowering masterclasses, it's not about trends, it's about you. Head to allaboutyou.uk.com and let her know the podcast sent you. Look good, feel like yourself again, support local. Right, back to the show. These are 3 questions that we ask every guest that comes on the show, and it's all about highlighting what's going on in Bishop Stortford and surrounds, okay? So, first question. If you could put one sentence on a billboard in Jackson Square, what would it say, and who needs to hear it the most?
Who would need to hear it most? I'm going to say parents. And what would it say? It would say something like, sport is important for children and it teaches lessons that can't be learnt in a classroom. And then it would have some like bullet points underneath it with those words like, resilience and mental toughness and all of those things you hear an influencer saying, but nobody really understands how you're supposed to do it. But I've coached for a long, long time, and I've seen the impact of sport on children. And as much as I would love that impact to be judo, because that's my sport, I know that people get that from rugby and football and other sports that they're involved in as well. And I think it's a hybrid of being part of a community club that looks after you, that fosters relationships and teaches you to be social across age groups is really important. That's something you don't get in school. And some children will have their best moments in a sports club that they don't get that opportunity to in school. But sometimes your highest achievers in a classroom are your highest achievers in a sports field. And so we really shouldn't pocket people into different pockets. But I've seen children compete and win at European international level whilst getting 9A stars. I've seen every facet of it, and I've seen parents try to stop their children doing sport because they've got an exam, year 5 or 6 exam at school. And I'm like, these kids, they've been used to doing sport 5 nights a week. If you stop them, what do you think happens to them? How do they regulate? So it's important for so many reasons. But that resilience of losing and getting back up not being taught how to pass something, being given the skills, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work depending on who you're actually competing against, and problem solving under pressure, when that pressure isn't about a score, it's just about whether you're winning or losing, but you get an opportunity and you can go again. That's absolutely fine. It's the going again that's important. I just think, come on, just get them involved in something. Because if you don't, it'll be a big shame and a big miss for them.
100%. Like if there's a parent out there with a child coming up to 5, 6, 7, 8, get them along to the club just to experience what's going on. That resilience in particular. Schools are really struggling with that with kids, certainly post COVID, and the advent of social media and all of that kind of stuff. And what better way to learn about yourself than getting on the mat.
Yeah, I think it's really important.
Testing yourself.
It's really important to have an environment where you have to accept that failure. And I'm going to use the word failure, and it isn't failure. It's being thrown or it's losing a contest. I think, children get to learn words like pass and fail really early on. And actually, nobody fails. You just have to go again until you get it right. And actually, what one is right for one person might not be right for another person. That's absolutely okay as well. But you have to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to do that. You don't just learn. And I think, I see so many parents coming into the dojo now with a level of anxiety themselves about whether their children are going to like it or whether they're going to get injured. And actually, I grew up in a bit of a different time, when there wasn't really any consideration of that. The things that we do on the mat in terms of, what I would call basic physical literacy, those skills. Children are coming in without those skills now because maybe the PE offering in primary school isn't the same. And also, I've been a working parent my whole life. I get it. It's hard when you're a working parent. I used to commute into London every day. My children went to childcare. And so you're pushing them into a sports club to try and teach them probably things that you just did yourself in the garden. You learn how to do a cartwheel yourself. You learn how to do a round off or a backflip and those things that the children just don't have anymore. So sports clubs are important for all of those reasons. But resilience is a tough one. And you have to let people fail. And you have to tell them it's okay to fail and not tell them off for not getting something right. Ours is literally, you do get thrown. You do have to physically get back up again. So maybe that's the mental link and why it works. But yeah, it definitely needed.
So I feel like there's a whole podcast all to itself there,
do you?
Nicole, about resilience.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that one later.
We'll talk about that another time. Yeah. Okay, question number 2. Where do you go in Stortford that you secretly hope never gets too popular?
Well, if I tell you, then I don't want it getting flooded. So it actually got busier during COVID, but it never got to the point where I never wanted to go there. And there's like a little walk from my house, which takes me past the lake and Thorley lanes at the bottom of St Michael's Mead. And then you can cross the bridge and you can walk up Farmer's Track. And there's a few different ways around it. But that's kind of always been my place to go to when I just need to walk or get a bit of breath or, walk with a friend or take my granddaughter on a bike ride or something like that. That's kind of that's my place.
Fantastic. I think I head up that way. I'm in St James and we go from the other direction up to, the country park and around the lake.
Yeah.
Desperately trying to keep my 2-year-old from jumping in. Okay. And last question, Nicole, who's doing something special in town that more people need to know about?
So I'm going to shout out to Prontaprint at Bishop Stortford, because those guys have been like the backbone of the majority of our sort of visual work, and they've done a lot of stuff for us, printing and banners and boards, and Anna is our chair. So I don't want to get told off by her, but she'll be mortified that I've shouted them out and that she's got to do this too. So there's a win in there for me somewhere. But they've been incredible, and nothing is ever too much trouble. They can turn stuff around really quickly for us. And actually, when I've just know that we've needed something, but I've not been quite sure what that is, they've got some great people there just to talk things through and actually come at you with some really odd, just thinking at it from a little bit of a curveball that you wouldn't have thought of yourself. And they've got a great load of people there. So, and they do everything there now. They've grown their business. They've got bigger premises. And so, well, they do everything, printing, packaging, weddings, sports stuff. I mean, they work for 1 million people, but for us, they have been, fantastic and supported us through our growth, and they do all of our printing and all of our work. So we wouldn't be where we were without them.
Fantastic shout. And let's definitely get her on the podcast, and we can ask her all the difficult questions.
Yes, please do.
Then okay, no problems. Okay, finally, where is the best place for people to find you online and get involved again?
Okay, so if you look up bishopstortfordjudo.com, you'll find our webpage. If you want to just come and watch one of our sessions, you'll find us at Herts and Essex Sports Centre in the dojo there, Monday through to Thursday evenings every week. A small session on a Friday and Saturday mornings. So there's plenty of opportunity for you to pop in and see us or contact us online.
That's awesome. Nicole, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining us today on the
Thank
Bishop
you.
Stortford Community Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. If you enjoyed this show, the best way to support us is to hit follow, leave a quick review on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and share it on your socials. Maybe share it with someone in town who you think should get their kid along to the Judo Club and get involved with everything that Nicole's been talking about today. And if you know a local legend, just like Nicole, who you think we should feature next, drop their name below. I'll reach out to them and we can get to them on the podcast. I love shining a light on people that are doing incredible things in Bishop Stortford. Go out today, go and do some sport, and go support local. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
If you run a business built on trust, but your website's full of stock photos and silence, we need to talk. True Tone Testimonials helps coaches, consultants, and other service providers turn real client stories into high-converting video content. No scripts, no fluff, just honest words from real people who already love what you do. They're professionally filmed and ready to drop onto your site or into your socials. Head to truetonetestimonials.card.co. Let your clients do the selling. Okay, support local. Let's get back to the show.